Guys, the crypto space is looking ugly right now, okay? And if you've looked at the cryptocurrency charts in the past 24 hours, you have seen a complete sea of red everywhere, okay? Well, this is not by accident, okay? This is not because of what's going on necessarily in the broader economy. This is a big problem inside of the crypto space itself, and we're really in trouble right here. So I'm going to talk about that in this video, exactly what happened, okay? I'm jumping on to do this emergency live update. We have been normally doing these live streams. We've gone into once per week on this channel because, you know, so much has kind of gotten quiet about this space. We used to do them every single day during the week, and now we've gone into once a week. But I want to jump on, make this video for you all because now is the time to do this emergency update. So I'm gonna tell you everything you know in this video. If you're new around here, hey, I'm Gregory. On this channel, I turn you into a blockchain master. So if that's something you're interested in, then smash that like button down below for the YouTube algorithm and subscribe to this channel. And if you want to become a blockchain master step-by-step start to finish, then definitely head on over to dappuniversity.com/bootcamp to get started today. All right, so we got some people jumping in the chat here, even though we are outside of our normal programming time. We got Codia, Dale, David Stone, Automatic Beats, see here, Gentle, Kelvin, Michael, Ardal, White Fluffy. All right, welcome. Okay, so let's get into this. Let's talk about the current state of the crypto space because things are looking ugly out there. If you've been looking at your phone in the past 24 hours, checking cryptocurrency prices, you have seen that they have gone down quite a bit. All right, Bitcoin looks like it's making new lows that respective to what it saw over the summer, and that's just 1 year away from the absolute crypto top that we saw in November of 2021. So why is this happening? Right? So throughout this entire year, the name of the game has been don't fight the Fed. The real problem has been sort of out there in the real world with, shifting economic policy, rising interest rates, inflationary problems within the economy that has, hurt the crypto space as well as the stock market. Now, along the road, okay, we've seen a couple of hiccups along the way as crypto prices have fallen over the summer. We saw the Terra Luna disaster happen where that stablecoin blew up. We saw different hedge funds, like in different players in the crypto space, become insolvent and blow up. And today we're adding another, sort of chink in the armor for the crypto space, which is one of the world's largest cryptocurrency exchanges, probably going under. Okay, so I'm going to talk about that, and I want to be very careful about how to talk about that because there's a lot of stuff just being thrown around in the media right now, and we're not 100% sure what the actual truth behind everything is, but I'm going to break this down and talk about what we probably know of our best of ability and talk about the implications for this to explain what's happening next. So who are the key players and what's going on right now? So the big one that you need to understand really is FTX, okay? So if you don't know what FTX is, it's one of the world's largest cryptocurrency exchanges. I don't always keep track of the exchange, hierarchy and the leaderboard, but I believe it was in the top three. I believe it was basically Coinbase, Binance, and FTX, okay? I'm not 100% sure on that, but yeah, that was my problem, my understanding before this. Anyways, FTX is a centralized cryptocurrency exchange. It's built on web servers. You go deposit cryptocurrency into it, and you can trade on the platform, but they hold your crypto for you. And so, in the crypto space, there's always the adage of not your keys, not your crypto, right? If you have coins deposited on a centralized exchange or lending protocol, and then something happens to that exchange or lending protocol and they shut down or they stop withdrawals or something like that, and you can't get your coins back, then you never had your coins in the first place. It was an IOU and you can't just withdraw them, okay? People learned that lesson the hard way this summer when Celsius blew up, okay? Celsius was a centralized, lending platform that was, doing things behind the scenes with customer funds, okay? To give them interest, and when Celsius blew up, people couldn't get their money back because they deposited it. In the case of not your keys, not your coins. Now, that's exactly what has happened in the past few days with FTX. So basically, we've had issues where people are like, hey, FTX paused withdrawals when I was trying to take my funds off, all right? FTX looks like there might be a bank run going on. People are trying to take money off the exchange and they don't actually have enough money to redeem those withdrawals, okay? So that was one of the first things that sort of caused people's fear on all this. And so we also started to see the exchange token for FTX. Let me try to pull this off my screen here. FTT, all right, their exchange token, absolutely tanking value. Okay, so FTT like was down, like 70-80%. I'm just kind of spitballing the numbers here. We were at close to $30 each about a month ago, and then boom, we're down to $4.56. All right, now I know it's not a funny thing. Sometimes it's just like when you see these outlandish changes, it just kind of catches you surprise. That's my initial reaction. Again, if anybody's been affected by any stuff in this video, I'm not treating it as funny. Sometimes just when I see information like this, it's just like so otherworldly that's kind of my reaction to it. Okay. So anyways, the FTX token is wrecked. FTX, by all accounts, looks like it is wrecked. Okay, I'm just telling you what we think we know from the limited information that's out there in the public. I don't have any inside information. I can't pick up the phone and talk to, people behind the scenes at FTX. I can't, pick up the phone and talk to people behind the scenes at, Binance, which is who I am going to talk about next. Okay, so, Binance is the other key play that you have to understand. So Binance is another centralized cryptocurrency exchange, okay? One of the world's largest cryptocurrency exchanges. And from what we understand now is there's a non-binding agreement for Binance to step in and actually buy FTX, okay? So basically, this is a big opportunity. If you were one of the world's largest cryptocurrency exchanges, one of your competitors just got their legs chopped off, and you're like, hey, we have this ability to, increase our position of strength and become a leader in the entire world if we're playing long-term games here, not just short-term money grabs. Like, we could acquire these people and either take their customers or put them out of business, okay? It's a pretty big-brained move at this time, okay, from one of the largest cryptocurrency exchanges, okay? Now, I know people have different opinions about different people in the space and whether you should use centralized exchanges and which ones are good or bad. I'm not going to get into all that. Like, my whole point here is that, like, if you're thinking about it from their incentives and their perspective, like, that's a huge, huge move. So anyways, it looks like there is a non-binding agreement for Binance to buy FTX. Now, we don't know what that's going to conclude as. We don't know if that means that does Binance really actually want to buy FTX and, keep all their liabilities and have those on their balance sheet now? Or do they just want to essentially, kind of go through this to where it kind of just works out for them and they don't actually, end up buying it and operating it, okay? Maybe, FTX essentially gets turned off. I don't know what the actual outcome of this is going to be, okay? Because this is a non-binding agreement, it's not done. I tell you, M&A deals don't happen overnight. Like a mergers and acquisition deal isn't like call somebody, okay, next day, like you have our company. I know that could change those timelines a little bit when you're talking about an emergency situation like this, but most M&A deals take a very long time to go through. So, that being said, there are a lot of people who are locked out of their funds on FTX. I've seen lots of people, talk about how significant portions of their net worth were on that platform and they can't get it off, okay? I see people in the chat here since I started going live on this video talking about how they can't get their funds off of FTX, and it's bad if that's happening to you. Again, so I'm really sorry that is happening, but let's talk about what could potentially happen next with this. So, essentially, if Binance does actually go through with the acquisition of FTX and you can't get your funds off of it, there may, get to the point where you can actually do that, okay, honor and redeem those things. So there is a potential glimmer of hope if your funds are locked right now. That being said, if your funds are locked in volatile assets and the value of those assets goes down like crazy, of course, there's a time preference on when you can do that withdrawal or exchange those back to fiat currencies. Unfortunately, you will not get necessarily the best opportunity for that, okay? So let's talk a little bit about, some other implications of what this means for the crypto space, because I do think in the short term, things do not look good. All right. So why is that? Well, over the summer, we saw this blow up happen with, Terra Luna disaster, Celsius going insolvent and going under, basically. There was a lot of contagion risk where essentially, you had crypto's a very incestuous space, for lack of a better word. Basically, everybody's with everybody else, and you got all these people that are borrowing money from this person, that person, and over the summer, we saw what happened, right? We saw whenever these major insolvency issues happen, crypto's very volatile. If anything's collateral, you can get liquidated, okay? Any of the assets that go down in price, it's this cascading effect where people have to pay back their debts and they have to sell off crypto assets in order to do that. Puts massive sell pressure on the market, and people, the market goes down, it goes red. And we're seeing a similar type of thing happen right now because in addition to FTX, there's a pretty big overlap between FTX and Alameda. Okay, so this is another, big player in the space with a lot of the same cast of characters overlapping those two entities. Okay, and if they were a trading partner with any other people in the space, they could have exposure to them. It could cause all these other businesses to have liabilities during this time, which that's what that contagion risk is, okay? Or if any other, trading firms in the space actually used FTX, okay, to do any of their, to managing their positions, and they can't get their funds off of there, then that also has some contagion risk associated with it as well. Now, I do want to talk about some, alternate theories that are going on around there, which is like with the FTT token. Okay, so some people have said that a couple things. One, that since Alameda and FTX have a pretty big overlap in their roster here, from the terms of their leadership ownership. This is just a theory that I've seen floating around there. This is not necessarily fact. This is not necessarily what I have come to accept as the truth. It's just one perspective, is that, they potentially blew up with everybody else over the summer, okay, and then essentially, were using customer funds, sort of robbing their own piggy bank in order to cover that, and now the chickens have come home to roost, and this is, really start to spread and collapse within the exchange itself. I don't know if that's true, okay, but that is one sort of theory that I've seen floating around there, okay. The other theory that I've seen floating around is that, essentially, the nice folks over at Binance saw the opportunity on the table, with the FTT token, and it was going down, and basically, putting sell pressure on that, seeing ways to put FTX in a vulnerable position where they could either put them out of business or acquire them or something like that. So, again, this mostly just kind of a fun theory to talk about. I know it's not really fun. None of this stuff is fun. I've been in the space a long time. I've kind of hardened to the insanity at this point, and so that's kind of why I have the outlook that I do. Trust me, I'm definitely feeling the pain of the down crypto market, like a lot of other people. This is just not my first rodeo. Okay, I've been through multiple cycles, been through multiple downturns, multiple stressful financial situations, to where it just doesn't faze me as much as it used to. So, because I do believe in long-term potential of this space, and what we're seeing today, in my opinion, really does not affect the long-term outlook on crypto significantly. It really doesn't. And then that's what's super important to understand, is you see all these people on Twitter, all these people everywhere, they're like, it's over, I'm out. Like, even pretty prominent people that are sort of venting out there. They're like, I'm just done with the space. Like, I'm moving on. I'm going to go work on AI, or I'm done. Like, there's no opportunity here, blah, 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 blah. I get it. It sucks. It sucks to go through stuff like this. Like, this is one of those painful experiences you could possibly go through in the crypto space, especially if you had funds on one of these exchanges. You know what I mean? But that is, to me, that presents one of the biggest opportunities. Now, that is not financial advice. I'm not telling you to go buy cryptocurrency during this dip, all right? I don't know where the bottom's going to be. But what I'm talking about is if you had the long-term, if you were long-term long on this space in terms of your commitment to the space. I'm not talking about putting money in the space. I'm not talking about investing, right? I'm talking about investing your time, attention, resources into making basically getting married to this space on a 5-year timeline. Then right now is a great opportunity, because you got so many people that are running the other direction, and you're going into this situation, okay? And that's exactly what I did in 2018. Like, after the ICO bubble popped, right? I got in the space in 2017. I doubled down in 2018 and 2019 and watched the entire next wave happen, okay? And I do believe the same opportunity is presenting itself again. We got so many amazing things around the corner for this. And there's the financial adage of being greedy when others are fearful, and fearful when others are greedy. Again, not investment advice. I'm not telling you to exercise that right here in terms of where you put your money, but where you put your time and attention. Now is a perfect time to double down on your time and attention when everybody else has decided to take a holiday and sort of look the other way, run the other direction. Fortune favors the bold, and I think we're going to see that out of this opportunity as well. So that being said, another kind of interesting piece to talk about here is, SBF, the sort of media darling of, crypto. Apparently, he's taking some major hits. No longer billionaire after $14.6 billion of net worth wiped out in a single day or a week or something like that. Okay. Knocked off the Bloomberg Billionaire Index, nearly 94% of net wealth, down bad. So, if you think you've got hit hard, in this crypto downturn, imagine losing $14.6 billion. $billion. Like billion is a hard concept for a lot of people to understand. Humans kind of check out after a certain threshold, after they see a number that's just kind of big. Other big numbers are just big. They kind of lose context of relative magnitude. So basically, like if you think $1 million is a lot of money, which it is, okay. It's funny. This time last year, you have people in the crypto space. Oh, it's not that. Yeah, because you're so calibrated to bubble-ish mindset. But $1 million is a lot of money. $1 billion is $1,000 million. Okay. So, said a different way, $14.6 billion is $140,000 million. $140,000 is a lot of money. Multiply that times $1 million. That's how much $14.6 billion is. That's how much we just erased off of his net worth. Now, everybody will say, yeah, but he's still close to a billionaire, so it doesn't really matter. In one sense, that's true, right? If you still got $500 million even, like, that's still enough money to never have to worry about money ever again. Even if you got a terminal illness and your entire family got a terminal illness and you had to continue to like live for 50 more years and pay for people's college, like, and live in a mansion, you could still do that with $500 million to your name. So, anyways, that is something to watch out for. So I do think this is a bit of a moment where, a lot of the space has had, high view of SBF, and I think that is definitely going to change, at least from the media's perspective, at this point. It's because it's not looking great. So that's at least what we know from the surface. I've had a lot of the people who have supported and advertised FTX put referral links in their videos and stuff, which I never did. And that's not looking so good for them right now either. I've been super careful with like partnerships and sponsorships in this space. I have occasionally done sponsorships on stuff that I think is cool. I think you all get a lot of value out of. I always disclose the sponsorships whenever they happen. But I've never like put up exchange referral links. I've never put out, I've never advertised any of these financial services for this exact reason, because I don't want people to get on these platforms and start trusting them and then boom, they go under. Okay. I've been very, very, very careful not to do that, and now you're starting to see why. And especially like last year during the bull run, everything was getting frothy and crazy. I was always like, hey, you got to watch out for this, watch out for this, watch out for that. There's a reason I only stick to this, and that. Everybody's like, oh, you don't know what you're talking about, blah, 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 blah. It's because you're biased, It's like, okay. Again, not my first rodeo. And after you go through your first rodeo, you get punched in the mouth, you break your jaw, you get up and you're spitting blood on the ground. Like, hopefully pain can be a profound teacher, and you will learn for the next time. And I really hope that people will learn from this situation. Again, I'm not trying to be insensitive. Trust me, I have had scary times in crypto, okay, up to this point. So it's not that I cannot talk about this as someone who has not experienced profound pain and duress from enduring this space for over 5 years. Trust me, I understand. But what I'm saying is that the only productive thing you can do from that pain is learn from it. It's the only productive thing that you can do. Okay, so people are asking questions like, are we going down more, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So Unfortunately, I do not have a crystal ball as to what is going to happen tomorrow in the crypto markets. Okay. Now, that being said, I do have experience during these blowups. Okay. And what typically happens? Well, they typically don't just like resume an uptrend the next day. Okay. I don't think this is just like a little blip on the map and we just continue to start, making a new all-time high. That's pretty naive, right? I don't think that's going to happen. Again, nobody really knows, but I'm going to talk about things in terms of probability. We can use the past to try to make the best sense of where the space is headed, and try the best that we can to figure out what's next. So probably this will take some time to resolve, okay? We could see, a sharper leg down after this. We could see things start to really slowly, like kind of start to round out before it could get better. So why is that? So instead of like trying to draw lines on charts and do some technical analysis like astrology or something like that, right? You have to understand the fundamentals about what's actually happening behind it. Well, like what's actually causing the numbers to go up and down? Well, it's exactly what I'm talking about right now. When you have these insolvency issues and these liquidity crunches, you have a lot of people who essentially now have to sell cryptocurrency in order to pay back bad debts in the space, all right? Especially if they're doing like leverage trading or something, right? Or they're just trading, any type of borrowed money or using any type of borrowed money for their business and they're exposed to somebody else who is doing that, right? Now they have an issue, okay? And so one of the primary ways they cover those positions is to sell crypto assets, okay? Because that's one of the most liquid assets possible. And when you see that type of thing happen, especially when there's hardly anybody to buy, okay, because who wants to be buying as the thing is knifing down? A lot of people will, but vast majority of people are too scared to do that. That's what causes prices to knife even harder, okay? And I do believe that has sort of been what's happened over the past couple days, and we could see some of that continue to play out. We see massive exodus from centralized exchanges. People are deposited onto, not as many exoduses from FTX, but right now, but lots of exoduses from major cryptocurrency exchanges. The outflows are like crazy all-time highs. So there is a flight to safety. Some of that could result in continue sell pressure over the next couple days. Like I don't think this is just going to work itself out tomorrow. I remember when the Celsius stuff happened over the summer, it was sort of like, big knife down, and then it took time for it to really, start to figure it out. So somebody says Binance backed out. Did they actually back out? Let's just see if we have an update. Because a lot of this stuff, like I said, we're just talking about what we know from the surface. So we do have, looks like we have something that just broke since we hit the live button. All right, so in the last 22 minutes, just like this has come out. So Binance is strongly leaning towards scrapping FTX rescue takeover after first glance at books. So who knows if that's true? But if that is true, see FTX client comment. Okay, so we'll see. We'll see if Binance actually steps in the rescue or not. So somebody's saying 15K soon. Yeah, Facebook announced a layoff. Yeah, Facebook did announce a layoff. Although they're still shipping their Web3 products with the NFTs. So it looks like there's still demand for that. So somebody says my opinion on ETH deflation. So yeah, that is one thing to understand is with a lot of the selling that happened recently, we have seen the Ether supply go negative, all right, since the merge. All right, so again, we had the Ethereum merge, happen in September. All right, that's basically when Ethereum switched to proof of stake. Ethereum is also, the issuance dropped. They reduced the issuance by 90%. And, we've been talking about ETH going negative in issuance, actually being deflationary on larger time frames. I never said that that would be on a day-by-day basis because it would depend on network activity. But I always said if you look at on larger time frames, that ETH can become deflationary like on an annualized scale. And so now we're actually seeing, when the network activity starts to pick up significantly, that a lot of ETH was burned over the last, couple days. It had already been trending downward. And now, since the merge, ETH has actually been negative issuance or deflationary in this case. So this is the first time that we've seen this since the merge. It's a big deal. I know it sucks in the middle of a crypto crash like the one we're in right now. People say that doesn't even matter because the ETH price is tanking, because everything else in the crypto space is tanking. Prices are always a function of supply and demand. Okay. The inflationary, deflationary side of the issuance, of course, has to do with the supply. The demand is going to be a much bigger factor in this equation. Okay, it's it wouldn't matter if ETH supply went down by 10% if everybody wants to sell to escape a crypto apocalypse right now. Okay, but over time, as demand stabilizes and increases, then I do believe that the supply reduction can have a significant impact on the price over the long term. Okay, we're gonna have boom and busts in this space. The supply side economics are going to matter way less in those heavy sell times. But opposite end of the spectrum, when stuff gets really frothy, it's going to have a significant impact to the upside. So part of it is just staying the course. And playing the long game. I'm telling you, the spoils of war go to people who play long-term games. That's not just true for crypto, but it's especially true for crypto. Now, it is a bumpy, rocky ride along the way. I can tell you as someone who's been knocked off the horse several times, but it's continued to stay the course. Been through things that would turn most people's hair white in this space, but hasn't quite happened yet to me. And long-term is key. Somebody says now's when millionaires are made. Yep, could be. Although we did get this similar opportunity over the summer, basically. We saw these same price levels around Bitcoin and Ethereum over the summer. Now, that being said, stuff like Solana has really round-tripped hard, back to like early 2021 prices, right? Like, what is it right now? It's 1650. That's like April 2021 prices. All right, everybody. So that is the scoop on what's happening in the crypto space. Again, this does look like it's painful in the short term. I do not think this is a death knell for the crypto space, like a lot of doomers are saying online. Okay. And a lot of people who think that are going to sorely miss out on some long-term opportunity. That's what I think is going to happen short term. Again, long term, I still have a very positive view of where we're headed, but there definitely could be some short-term pain associated with this big blow up, especially because of the fundamentals that are happening behind the scenes. So let me know what y'all think in that comment section below. Again, wanted to jump onto this emergency live stream update for you. We, in the past, we're doing these live streams Monday through Friday on this channel. We kind of went down to 1 day a week because the space got go quiet. There wasn't as much to update on a daily basis. But I always said if there's something really pressing that we'd hop on and do live. That's exactly what we did today. So join me again on Monday for my next live stream. That's the scheduled one. We'll do it about the same time, probably 9:30 a.m. Central Time. But definitely follow me on Twitter. Turn on notifications for this channel. If we do another emergency live stream update, I'll announce it ahead of time on Twitter. I'll also post the link there, and I'll also you'll get notifications whenever I go live. You turn on the YouTube notifications. So in addition to that, of course, smash that like button down below for the algorithm. Subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. And if you want to go all in this space, take the advantage of the big opportunity that I'm talking about while everybody else is too scared, sitting on the sidelines. The best way you can do that to build long-term wealth in this space is to increase your income by becoming a blockchain developer. So actually do that over at dappuniversity.com/bootcamp. Land your first six-figure job. You got to be an expert to get started today. I've helped people with zero coding experience become real-world blockchain developers in a matter of months. So that's all I've got. Until next time.